Welcome to the Town of Dayton Board of Selectmen's regular meeting. Today is Wednesday, June 26, 2024. It's 6 o'clock p.m. This meeting is in person and via Zoom at Old Town Hall, 1111 Somerset Avenue. This meeting is being recorded. The listing of matters are those reasonably anticipated by the chair, which may be discussed at the meeting. Not all items listed may in fact be discussed, and other items not listed may also be brought up for discussion to the extent permitted by law. This is revised from the original posting on June 24th, 2024 at 4:20 p.m. Can we please have a call to order?
Nicole Mello, present.
Mark Pacheco, present.
And Peter Karen, present. And can we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? And just stay standing right after the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We just want to mention that one of our close neighbors passed on this week in Sylvania Pavo, and we'd just like to give her, the attention that they deserve. Thank you. Getting right on into appointments. Hilda Resendiz. Hilda. Hi. You can't hear? Okay.
Come with me. Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna do it now?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for giving us this moment to recognize this evening Hilda Resendiz, who turned 100 years old this past Monday, June 24th. Tonight, we're presenting Hilda with a citation given to her by the State of Massachusetts Speaker of the House, Ronald Mariano, and State Representative Patricia Haddad. Hilda was born at home on Pine Street. She was born to John and Mary Canberra, who had a farm and an orchard, a fruit orchard, on Pine Street at their residence. Hilda worked on the farm with her family most of her life. During the winter months, she would work in the city of Taunton as a sales clerk wherever they were hiring. She eventually married and had one son. She is a grandmother and a great-grandmother. On behalf of my family, the Dayton Council on Aging, and the town of Dayton, congratulations, Hilda, on this beautiful milestone in your life. We wish you the very best. On a personal note, Hilda was my first Daytonian friend when I came to work at the nursing home many, many moons ago. And she's a beloved, she's really kind of one of our family members also. And if it wasn't for
My
her,
adopted daughter.
I call her my American grandmother. So here is
Oh, beautiful, thank you.
this is, let me read it to you, Hilda. The Commonwealth of Massachusetts, the House of Representatives, be it here be known to all that the Massachusetts House of Representatives offers its sincere congratulations to Hilda Resendiz in recognition of celebrating 100 years of life. The entire membership extends its very best wishes and expresses the hope for future good fortune and continued success in all endeavors. Given this 24th day of June 2024 at the State House in Boston, Massachusetts, signed by Ronald Mariano and Patricia Haddad. Congratulations, Hilda.
Thank you so much.
All right, my friend.
Huh?
The show is over.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Great.
coming.
I don't know if I'll make another 100, but
You can try.
Awesome. Happy birthday.
Oh, sweet.
oh, beautiful. Thank you so much. Oh, I love that. And his orchard.
Okay,
Thank you.
you wanna hang out?
You going home now?
I'm going home. You wanna hang out here?
No.
Second motion.
Come on, let's go. Let's go have a
kidding. She's 11 o'clock newser, this one. Betty?
I'm on my third dream by 11 o'clock at night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you.
Thank
Much.
you. Next up is Nicole Mello, Chairman of the Commissions on Disability.
We had a meeting a couple weeks ago, and we met with Cynthia Bolin as a new member on the commission. And they had voted to appoint her to transparency. We did work together at co-op. We do know each other. So Cynthia's here to answer any questions and hopefully be appointed.
Sure. Cynthia? Hi, how are you? I don't
up
think
to
you
you.
have to. It's all right, thank you, though. I guess, thank you that you want to be a member of on the Disability Committee. We have a lot of, usually have a hard time getting people to serve as volunteers, so it's always nice when somebody comes forward and wants to participate. So thank you very much. I have no real questions for you unless Mark does.
I don't.
Okay.
No, thank you.
Well, congratulations again. This is a review, discuss, and act.
You have to make a motion.
So we have to have a motion on the floor, please.
I'd like to make a motion to appoint Cynthia Boland as a member of the Commission on Disability.
I'll second that.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Robert Gear, Chairman of the Open Space Committee. Hi.
Thank you for seeing us.
Sure.
So where would you like me to start? Our committee voted unanimously to approach the council.
Yep.
We're seeking tonight the opportunity to have a Facebook page, and tonight we're asking for the right, still in abeyance, until we design and put together a specific content. So before we spend the time on that, we're looking for your permission. So right now, our content, as it's still in its infancy, we're looking to have an opportunity to have a different presence in the community. Our purpose is to be able to post positive things as they pertain to the community and what other municipalities do with this open space to keep the discussion moving. We would not intend to place minutes on this page. We would intend to place our agenda, though. We'd like to link the Zoom information to that page if possible. We would like to also link the town's website to that page. And then we would leave commenting on, but moderated, keeping in mind and reviewing the Massachusetts Declaration of Rights, and that we don't violate the comment-based content restrictions. So
Okay.
that's where we're at with that right
Great. Nicole, any questions?
Do we have a policy on our a social media policy? We do?
Yes.
All right, I haven't been able to review it.
Okay, Mark, do you have any questions?
Were you aware that we had a social media policy?
now. No, I was not, and I can look into that further.
It's on the Dayton website under the Selectmen tab. You'll find it. I think it's the very first tab there.
Okay.
And my only other question was, sometimes when there's turnover in boards, the administrator was the only one with the password, and then we can lose that page. Is there a way that you guys can share somehow, like the password or a way to access it with the town? So if we did have turnover, the page wouldn't go with that person.
Yeah, within social media, you can always have an emergency backup contact, and that
Okay.
can be defaulted to like the town admin assistant's email address if preferred.
That would be great.
Absolutely.
I would only recommend, again, that you go to the tab that Mr. Chico just recommended. But is there a motion on the floor to approve or not?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the Open Space Committee Facebook page.
I'll second that.
A motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. Chief, you're up, sir. Hi.
Greetings, everybody. Please accept this letter as a formal request that Ryan Richards be appointed to the rank of Deputy Chief. Ryan has been a member of the Dayton Police Department since 2005. He currently holds the position as detective, software administrator, Ryan has had numerous involvement with different tasks with his career in Dayton. On June 13th, 2024, the deputy chief interviews were conducted at the Dayton Police Station in the community room. The interview panel was made up of the Dayton Town Clerk, Mrs. Costa, Chief Dunn of Westport Police Department, Chief Richardson of Acushnet Police Department, and myself. The interview panel members were given packets for each candidate, 20 questions scored for each candidate. The maximum score was 100 per candidate, tallied up in the process. The top candidate with a score of 357 out of 400 was Ryan Richards. I truly feel that Ryan will be a great asset to the command staff at the Dayton Police Department as Deputy Chief.
Great.
We will work with the Town Administrator, Human Resources, and Board of Selectmen to present the Board of Selectmen meeting on July 10th as far as
Right.
contracts.
So it'll be the ceremony on that day.
Yes.
Great. Thank you. Congratulations, Ryan. I know you did well on the test, I heard. So I'm sure it was difficult to take, but I'm glad you have the position. Nicole, do you have any questions or comments?
Nope.
Wow.
I'm so excited to see the police department under the great leadership we have, and you gotta continue to move us forward. So thank you for stepping up, and we're excited for you and your new role.
Thank you.
Thank you. It says review, discuss, and act, so, yes.
We're doing
aware.
that right now.
At this time, I'd like to make a motion to appoint Ryan Richards as Deputy Chief of Police.
I'll second that.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Congratulations.
Barbara Catavia. Yes, hi. Well, I guess you really don't have to. I think everybody's aware of what's happening, so I don't know if it's necessary. Does anybody have any questions for Barbara about the
Well, I need to
position?
hear about,
Oh, you haven't heard? Oh, okay, I'm sorry, I thought you knew. Yes, come on up.
Did you want to question me, or do you want me to?
so it says proposed hiring of a temporary Board of Health clerical support.
Yes.
Who is this gonna be? How did we get to this point?
We got to this point basically, as you know, we've had a turnover down at the Board of Health. And our office manager, months ago, decided she's taken 3 weeks vacation, going across country and then coming back with her family. So we're at a little loss for help down there, but we've handled it very good. Whenever anybody comes in, they can reach Karen Brady along with Leanne at Selectmen's office. They get the inquiries and calls and either forward them to me, or they mail, text, or phone Elizabeth on the road. She actually took a laptop with her so she could be available 24/7. Elizabeth is our office manager. These concerns are dealt with appropriately. Extremely time-consuming for Selectmen's office to front inquiries, then forward them to the person who needs to take care of them. We really need a person who has some knowledge of Board of Health workings, is needed to be in attendance at the health department offices, since there is no health agent to assist on site. We have dedicated inspectors until an agent is appointed, to which phone we call them and they come out and they do whatever inspections we need. Elizabeth is more or less in constant contact, so she can advise us. We have a very competent person in Joanne Wilson. She's a Title V inspector. She's an installer also. She's familiar with food and beverages. And she's, I don't know, how many years, Joe, have you been here? Almost 6 now. Almost 6. So she knows the town, she knows the office, she's familiar where everything is. And I think she could cover this position part-time right now, just to fill in until Liz gets back.
So my one concern is, she does have a business in the town as well as her husband. Is this gonna conflict with anything? She will have access to different information.
All the information she would have access to is open to the public anyway.
Okay, because it was a conflict when she was on the board, so I want to make sure that now she's working in the department, that there's not a conflict again.
No, and she won't be inspecting anything.
No, I understand
She'll just
that.
be act as the intermediary, and I don't see a problem there at all. If anything, she knows the rules, regulations, and procedures, where if you just hired a part-time person off the street, they have no idea what's going on. And if she runs into a problem, she knows she has these other inspectors she can contact. She knows Elizabeth is right there at a drop of a hat. I mean, I text Elizabeth maybe 6 times a day, and she's right back with everything. She's very, very good, but we really need someone there. We definitely need someone there, at least a few hours a day.
That was going to be my next question. How many hours is this?
I think, how many hours is
18.
Yes,
18.
18.
And this is definitely temporary.
Temporary
Expires
until
when?
Elizabeth gets back.
When does it expire?
When would it expire?
So the 31st
Last
of
minute
July.
thing
31st of
when you're
July.
done.
Or,
Like documentation?
or the
what do
day
we
that Elizabeth gets back, whichever
Okay.
comes first. We're just leaving that extra week just in case something happens on her trip. She is across country, so we left that week.
Yeah, I appreciate her still, it sounds like she's still taking calls and stuff,
She
so
is.
that's appreciated.
She insisted on it. We tried to talk her out of it, but she insisted on
And you
it.
still call her 6 times a day while she's on vacation?
I text her a lot. Talk to her maybe
Okay.
once a day.
All right, still, that's not fair. But I knew she took the computer willingly. She wanted to do it, so, okay. Mark, do you have any concerns?
I know the Board of Health is going through a transition right now, so thank you for, trying to find a solution that we can have someone customer service facing in the office. And I know you have limited availability, and we had to find someone that could step up. So thank you for stepping up, Joanne, and we're just gonna get through this
I
next 3
also
weeks.
have little outlines on the open seating right now, if you'd like to hear that, about how the Board of Health is going.
No, we're just gonna stick with the agenda right now.
Okay,
But certainly we can,
I'd love to go over it because I'd like everyone to know where we are in this world, how we're doing. Very competent with getting it all done. We've got
well,
great-
you have 2 openings.
We have 2 openings on the board. We have a nursing opening, and we also have the health agent opening, all 3.
All right, we'll leave it at that for now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Is there a motion on the floor to appoint?
Is there the salary in here too?
It's not on your documents, but the rate is $22.08 an hour for 18 hours per week.
2208. Okay. I'd like to make a motion to appoint Joanne Wilson as a temporary Board of Health clerical support at a rate of $22.08, not to exceed 18 hours a week, for a term up to July 31st, 2024, or whenever our Board of Health office manager returns, whichever is sooner.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations again. Thanks.
Point of information, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Joanne, please just be so kind as to contact me tomorrow, that I'll just let you know what documents I'll need to complete your identity certification. Thank you very much.
And see the town clerk, I'm sure you'll have to get sworn in for that. Thank you.
Okay, moving on to announcements.
Please be advised that the increases in the transfer station sticker fee and rates take effect on July 1st, 2024. New fiscal year 2025 stickers are available for a cost of $30, which will be in effect from July 1st, 2024 to June 30th, 2025. Residents who have purchased a calendar year 2024 sticker will be assessed an additional $15 for an updated fiscal year 2025 sticker for use of the transfer station after July 1st, 2024. A mailing will be going out to current sticker holders and additional town outreach is planned. Due to significant cost increase being incurred by the town, the transfer station will no longer accept trailer loads of trucks debris as of after July 1st, 2024. There will be a blood drive sponsored by Dayton Health Department and Police Department on July 13th, 2024 from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Old Town Hall, 1111 Somerset Ave. In the town of Dayton, food bank distribution will be held next on July 20th, 2024, located at Town Hall, 979 Somerset Avenue, lower level.
Thank you, Nicole. We're up to public input. Is there anybody who wants to talk at this time? Yes, Mr. Hull.
On the first item, earlier Robbie spoke about the Facebook page. And about 4 years ago, the Board of Selectmen voted to place the administration of that Facebook page in the office of the town administrator rather than the Board of Selectmen. Because at the time, we had a selectman who was managing the page. We chose to go in a different direction. So I know Mike was in charge of that, but he also had his designee, which I believe was Leanne. And Robbie has agreed to work with Leanne and turn over the passwords. So that is a good way in case Robbie were to leave or the group breaks up, that the page is still being tended to.
Sure.
And not go rogue. That's important. Second thing, I attended the school committee meeting last night, and I have some updates. And some of the information is not so good, but most of it is good. I don't sure if the Board of Selectmen is fully aware, but the town of Rehoboth, the lawsuit against the school district, has entered the deposition phase and is not a dead issue. And I mention that because Town Administrator Mullen and Matt Costa had followed that closely. So I think Superintendent Rooney is away for a week, but you might want to touch base and see where that's at in regards to what role the Board of Selectmen and the town attorney should take with that. On a positive note, Superintendent Rooney was granted a 3-year extension on his contract. The evaluation, which was generated by the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, rather than the school committee, had him receiving in 4 categories: 2 proficient and 2 exemplary. And overall, the board of the school committee is very happy with his performance. So we get him for 3 more years. Dr. Kelly Hoy, a Dayton resident, was reappointed as the school district physician. And lastly, very fine humanitarian effort. The school committee accepted a donation of $500 to the special ed department from Dayton resident Robert Woods.
Oh, very nice.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Wood. Anybody else want to be heard at public input? Yes, sir.
I like the shirt, Tom.
Evening.
Put my glasses on.
We've all been very busy. We haven't met in person yet
Sure.
with that administrator yet. But
We soon.
soon, tomorrow morning, actually, for a short meeting. Our office takes in calls once in a while and whatnot. This one can be time sensitive, and it requires the board to consider doing a letter.
Okay.
So if I may just read the email real quick,
Sure.
and you guys can consider and guide me on how to respond. It's not a new topic, so it shouldn't be a big surprise. As follow-up to our conversation over the phone, I have a 2-year-old son. We live a very walkable distance from the playground, but you're alluding to this playground here, by the way, but are afraid to walk just over to the playground. The cars are flying by, and there is no pedestrian crosswalk. After so many months of trying to reach the State District 5 Highway Traffic Department has asked me to provide a letter from our town to help hopefully expedite my request to make the intersection of Center Street and Somerset Ave more family-friendly. Is there any way we can get a letter summarizing some of these concerns? I would greatly appreciate it. The first issue is the intersection does have a pedestrian crosswalk and a street light. It is impossible to safely cross with a child in a stroller to get to the Dayton Community Playground. The second issue is there is no reduced speed limit going through the intersection and to the downtown area of Dayton. Cars are doing around 40 to 45. And the third issue is there is no sidewalk to walk on between the intersection and to the playground. It is partially missing from the intersection to the point of the old town hall. See below the snapshot. So she did a good letter presenting this. I did direct it to District 5, I believe it was 6 weeks ago.
Okay,
And she's getting nowhere.
sure.
Usually a letter from the Board of Selectmen gets their attention.
Yep,
It's not the first time we had this conversation with Mass DOT, but
right.
if they get repetitive letters from us, I think it would be a good thing.
Sure, we will certainly do that.
Okay.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
That it?
That's it this
Wow.
time. I can make up more.
No, that's okay. Anyone else at this time? We do have a public input later on. Okay, we're gonna go right into Town Administrator's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't have a nameplate here yet, but I'm James Purcell. I'm the interim town administrator, and I know under Selectmen's reports, the chairman is going to talk about the status of the search for the permanent town administrator process. It's moving along quite well. This is my 6th working day, Mr. Chairman. I'm happy to say that as busy as year-end closeout activities and reporting activities are, that we're off to a pretty good start. We had selected department heads convene. You were there, Mr. Chairman, and I think on my first day or second day, and we established what the expectations were. About our functional relationship. I'd already established that with members of the Board of Selectmen, but with departmental personnel, we did that, and I think we have a pretty good understanding. I've followed that up with face-to-face meetings with certainly the same individuals there, to get a little bit of background information, but to get more specific information about project status reports and the like. And I can say that although we're in a transition period, you've got in almost all of your key places, it seems, competent personnel that need, I think, limited guidance from me. They're certainly entitled to and will get all of my professional assistance and in whatever value my opinions are on particular topics, but I think we seem to have an understanding. And this is, but for the audience's benefit, this is the 12th time in my retirement that I've done interim gigs, I call them. I did tell the board that in the first couple of weeks of service that I would be very busy, but producing next to nothing, because you're establishing these relationships, et cetera. Conversations are twice as long as they need to be, because everyone has to set a foundation for me on this is why I'm talking to you about this particular topic. I'm getting closer with your office staff to our finishing each other's sentences. So the conversations I hope are getting shorter, and I just think that your core group here, despite the transition, is serving the town pretty well. And I say that from someone who's done this a dozen times or so. So all is good so far. That could change by 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, as you know, in this business, but that's how it's going. So what have I been up to besides that? Mike Mullen left me a list of front burner issues that I have to pay attention to, and members of the Board of Selectmen have made very clear what your top 3 priorities are. Excuse me, what you expect from me between now and, I love this end date of my contract, Halloween, okay? I can't wait for that day. But among the topics that I've dealt with are the Pleasant Street Bridge reconstruction or replacement to a project. I did a site visit myself. We had a Zoom meeting with the project principals, the DPW director, and Congressman Auchincloss's office on that. The congressman, is responsible for a $2.75 million federal earmark to contribute to a project that's going to be north of $3 million, we know. But great headway has been made there. The consulting group, the so-called Beta group, advised me that they have a handful of other projects that they're doing for the town, and we've got a meeting set up at 9 a.m. Tomorrow to discuss the status of those things. And as you know, Mr. Chairman, from a conversation we had, my orientation meeting before we actually started, I asked Mike, and Mike directed staff to reach out to anyone like that doing business with the town, instead of my schlepping through file folders and all of that, trying to get up to speed on those things, make them come to me. And I've had at least 3 meetings that way. It's a very efficient use of time, and it's really helping us get ahead. It's part of why, I don't know if I said this earlier, but it's part of why I'm feeling like I'm about 4 or 5 days ahead of getting traction than I normally am. Another meeting that we had with our project consultants, I know Selectman Pacheco will talk about under the Selectmen's reports, but that's the fire station feasibility study, and we can give you an update on that. I made on another topic, I made an executive decision, and if I overstepped my bounds, I was willing to, plead for your forgiveness here tonight on the matter, but Rep. Haddad called the day before yesterday? The day before yesterday for Mike, and I ended up with a call. The legislature has, you've probably read, an economic development bill that they're deliberating on now, and did I have any earmark requests? She said Mike often has something in his bag of tricks, something to put up there for me. So I asked her for a measure of the ask. What are we talking about for dough here? And how much time do I have to respond? And she gave me about, I think, 3.5 hours or so to respond. Hence the executive nature of the decision. I did communicate with Mike. The goals that I spoke of just earlier, 2 of your 3 goals, Mr. Chairman, were economic development, promoting economic development for the town, and in keeping that Main Street project going. So I figured I was on safe ground when I did make a formal request to her, as she had requested, for $200,000 for Main Street construction activities, okay? So between now and the time that project actually gets to its end point, or nears its end point, inflation is gonna chew up that $200,000 if an earmark actually makes it and can be sustained. Remember, some earmarks got cut in half, from prior years due to some economic shortfalls on the state's end. But and you and I, Mr. Chairman, have had the conversation since I did that, but I did it. Okay. And
It's okay.
okay. I thought it would be.
Yeah.
And
Wonderful,
Yeah.
yes.
but your name is on the ballot, not mine. So, okay, so you've got that decision-making authority. talking about selectmen goals, Selectman Pacheco had asked for some information on the Bristol Plymouth Voc School construction project, and more particularly the borrowing for that. We have marked that up for discussion at your July 10th meeting, and I just started getting in, crawling in the weeds on that yesterday, and Mr. Pacheco and I will be working together on that in advance of your July 10th, right? Of your July 10th meeting. I guess the question is, and there was a topping off ceremony for the structure a week or two ago, how's the town going to pay for it?
Right.
You're on the hook for 8% of the total costs, period. What manner, what approach is the town going to take on that? And Selectman Pacheco wants to kick that discussion off beginning at your next meeting. We have just, it's a simple thing, but people ought to know. When I said the department heads and others around here know their jobs, we had a heat wave last week, and I asked Karen to make some calls around to department heads. Just their boxes I have to check, and predictably I got answers from the fire department and the police department that the fire department hosed kids down here for a couple hours. I wish I could have participated in that. And the police department posted heat advisories on the town webpage, and I guess their link, and made the community room available for residents that might have to use it. So what was predictable to me was that they didn't need to hear from me, but I needed to reach out to do that. And happily, no one had to avail themselves of the use of the community room or anything else except the kids, which was a nice thing. Mr. Chairman, you had a special joint meeting on Monday with the, is it the North Dayton Water District or the Water District? The Dayton Water District, which?
Water district.
Okay, the Water District. We all know what we're talking about. There was I think, a well-done report that the consulting firm did, Woodward and Curran.
Right.
Yeah, that Woodward and Curran had done. I had an afternoon, being unable to attend the meeting myself. Karen and I had an afternoon a Zoom meeting with the project principals on that, covering things that were going to be discussed that night. Karen informs me that it was a very fine presentation. The report itself is really very good, and is currently marked up in draft form. Unless anyone objects, and I have reached out to the Water District in the person of Ernie Bacon, Ernie Bacon, to see if there are any significant issues that members of his board have. I have spoken to one or two of you on the same topic. I'd like, unless someone objects, I'm going to direct the consultant to put final on the report. It's a condition survey. There are recommendations. It is not an edict, okay? It's a working document for you. That report needs to be deemed final because the grantor agency, the state agent at the Division of Local Services who funded this project, I've got a June 30 reporting deadline on that. And so I'd like to direct them, to say, take the word draft off and submit it to our grantor agency, and we're in compliance. I personally did a speed reading of the document, but did a slow, deep read on the recommendations, section 4 of the report, and they got there. I think you've got a good working document, and you can use that as a springboard toward future discussions and all. But significantly, they said, any merger or any any moves to further like legal ties. You know, they're a separate municipal corporation like you are, is not necessary. And so they talked about capacity issues and, you know, where you're going in the future. So, so again, my plan is tomorrow just to reach out to them and say, okay, final, send it off to the state, and by the end of business tomorrow, we'll be in compliance with the terms of that grant agreement. That's an important, that's a time-sensitive issue,
Right.
you know, for us to address.
I have a question on that, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Is there somewhere on the town website we can put that? I don't know if there's health and there's financial impact, somewhere that we can
When it's
put
final.
that when it's final?
That's a function of, that's the function of the finalization of the product. I
Okay.
wouldn't recommend it, well, yeah, under certain circumstances, I might recommend that a draft I'd be posted if there's significant public participation and interest in it. Yeah, I would.
When the final
Yeah,
is done,
in
that would be
this,
great.
in this instance, it's technical stuff and not, the only policy driven considerations that I see in that is, you know, is some sort of a wedding or formal, you know, a formalization of relations between the two municipal corporations there. So I will gladly have it posted,
Thank you.
but let me say final first
Yes.
in this instance. That's what I have tonight, Mr. Chairman.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
And welcome, Jim. You,
Thank you.
you're a great asset to us and came highly recommended, so we're glad to have you. And
Thank you, sir.
I know the town hall staff is very excited, so again, thank you. We, I have to mention again what you just said about the police and fire being ready for the heat wave that came through. The police department told me they had free bottled water and were under strict orders only to give it to the residents, and somebody stole one. So he said he's gonna start an investigation.
Dayton's Watergate.
But thank you, chief, and the fire chief as well. But yes, I don't know if they had any takers over here with the fire department? Did any kids show up? Yeah?
Yeah,
Cool.
there were quite a few. There were
Did we
about
get any
20,
pictures?
25. I don't know if anyone got
Yeah.
any pictures. I didn't get to go over, but I did see them out the window. It was so
cool.
cute.
Oh, I'm glad they took
had a
advantage
ball.
of it.
I can ask for a life, Mr. Chairman. My kids were there. I'll see if there's.
Were they? Oh, okay.
Mr. Chairman, at first I thought it was probably an annual thing you folks did, like when school got out or that sort of thing, but it was strictly attributable to the heat wave. So.
Right, yeah. And they thought of it and went forward with it. I think that's great.
Yeah, pretty cool.
The other thing I wanted to mention was the search for the for Jim's permanent replacement. And we had a Zoom meeting on Monday and talked about some things that I'm not at liberty to say right now. We talked about contracts and where we were at with the search itself. It's going forward. We jumped 2 feet first. They're really moving rapidly. They have what we were looking for. They interviewed all 3 selectmen to determine what we wanted to see in the next town administrator, which we gave them our input. They took it and they created a job description. And like I said, they just took it and ran with it. I fully expect to have them completed by the end of July. They're got their recommendations to us, but the applicants coming in. So we should be right in the same timetable that we had set, which was hopefully by the end of September that we have a replacement, and give them time to work with Jim and be on their own by sometime in October. So looking forward to that. Nicole, do you have anything that you want to add tonight?
Yeah, I just wanted to make you guys aware, we know that currently the health department is lacking in staffing, as we discussed earlier. I've been working the last 3 years on this, the Public Health Excellence Grant. I reached out to Megan, she's the shared service coordinator this morning, and I requested that I be able to attend those meetings as a selectman, to make sure that this doesn't get any hiccups. We put so much work into it. She's gonna go to DPH and get the approval. If it is approved, I'll bring it before the board for your approval.
Great. Thank you.
That's it.
Okay, Mark?
We had a busy day Monday. We had the kickoff of our fire station feasibility. We met with the Lero Group, and our interim town administrator, Mr. Purcell, was there, our fire chief was there, our building commissioner, and we got to tour Station 1 and Station 2, and just basically kind of go over the scope of the work and the condition of both fire stations. And really, with this feasibility study, everything's on the table. It's really just to see the best direction for the fire stations as they stand. There's, you know, it's kind of a fact-finding mission, you know, with the growth of the fire station and the state that they're in. So that was a good first meeting. Is there anything you want to add to that?
Well, just the, what was noteworthy was the fire chief said probably 2 or 3, maybe even more times, that, you know, let the professionals make a dispassionate assessment of, you know, conditioned assessment of what we have, and make a recommendation. That, you know, there weren't any attempts to say, you know, we'd love you to do the work as long as you come to my conclusions, as sort of thing.
Absolutely.
It wasn't, you know, he emphasized that repeatedly, that tell us what you see, tell us what you find. We're not going to push you in one, at this stage of the game, we're not going to push you in one direction or the other. Just level with us.
Absolutely.
That was do you agree that was the tone?
I do,
That was the tone and the content. That was at least his stated position, so,
Yes.
which
yeah.
is good.
It is good. And my only other update is we also had a kickoff meeting on Monday for the MSBA's elementary school building committee. We had 13 members present, a diverse selection of folks from our community. A lot of it was just to kind of go over, you know, the actionable items of what's coming up. But we did vote for our superintendent, Bill Rooney, to be the chairman, and Alicia Wilson as our vice chair, and Kevin Smith will be our clerk. So we had a very good kickoff meeting, and starting with our next selectmen's meeting, we'll have an announcement for each meeting, just so the public is aware. The district will post information on their website and link it with ours, so there's information for the public to see what's going on with that. And I believe that there will be reports at the school committee side as well, that at least the chairmans or some of the members will give a report too. So
Good.
hopefully anyone watching will know
Yeah.
that we're working on this.
Yep, great. Did they give a timetable? Or is there one for completing it?
I think just we've talked about, no, I don't think we're there yet.
Okay.
No.
All right, great.
Mr. Chairman, once you're just entering the queue.
Yes.
It's a long,
Yep, it's a long
it's a
process.
long process.
Okay, thank you. We're gonna move on to old business then. Review, discuss, and act against the junk dealer's license for Mr. Joseph Fazzato. Mr. Fazzato, how are you? Good. You're not here under the best circumstances, as you are aware. I'm gonna be very frank with you. I personally am getting a little tired of it, that this keeps happening, and it's gotta stop. I don't know what else, yes, sir, come on up. I don't know what else to tell you. We've had a few complaints, we've received another one. You are quickly becoming in violation of your license. And I'm not saying tonight we're going to take it away unless the other selectmen want to, but you can only operate in the hours that you're supposed to operate. No holiday work is permitted. Your hours are supposed to be clearly posted. No collection of fuel tanks, and license is non-transferable or spelled out in your license. And I don't know why you can't work from 7 to 7. Why is it necessary to spot a truck at 5:30 in the morning?
My truck broke down, and I go to Boston 2-3 times a week. Instead of the tailpipe dragging down the road, making sparks and everything, I left the truck 3/4 in the garage. I jacked the tailpipe up, and I tied it up with wire, right? And I was only there maybe 5 to 10 minutes the most. I apologize. I shouldn't have did it that early. But I have to fix it to go to Boston.
You go to Boston on the weekends?
This wasn't on a weekend.
Okay.
This was during the week. All right, and then I ended up fixing it, right? Went to Boston. I go to Boston 2-3 times a week. And I was there maybe 5 to 10 minutes the most. I tied it up with a wire. Matter of fact, I gotta make an appointment with Paul Exhaust to fix the tailpipe. I backed up and I bent it all hell, so. And I don't work Saturdays. Now, last Saturday, I was supposed to go to a car show. I go out back, open the overhead door, ready to stop my wife's 56 Ford, and there's Wayne LePage on the other side of the fence, making noise, and I know he's there. So I just shut the door, right, and I didn't go to the car show. I said, forget it, and I went back in the house. This guy is stalking me all the time.
Well, you can live your life. If you want to go to a car show, nobody's stopping you from going to a car show.
And I want to thank the chief for what he did with Mr. LePage. He took all his guns and everything. He's going around harassing people.
Let's not get into that aspect of it. We're here to discuss your license.
But he's been harassing me for 40 years.
Okay, but we're here to discuss your license and your actions, not Mr.
Yes,
LePage.
I don't work Saturdays no more, and I
Okay.
don't work holidays. But if I walk in the back, I make a noise, there's Mr. LePage. Right, and you can hear him on the other side of the fence. My wife went outside the other day, brought me some ice water, and there's with Mr. LePage swearing and everything in the back. I had the cops there again, and I got a restraining order on him.
Okay, I'm only going to tell you one more time. We're not here to discuss Mr. LePage. We're here to discuss your license and the violations that
I
you are
apologize.
committing.
But I don't work Saturdays.
Okay?
If somebody's making a noise, it ain't me,
Yep.
okay? And I don't work holidays, and I don't work Sundays.
Okay. I believe we received a letter, and I don't know why the copy is not
I
here.
know, I don't have it.
I got the license here if you want to see.
No, not the
No,
license,
no.
the letter that was a complaint.
Yeah.
I apologize, I don't have it. But I believe it said one morning you were starting your car, it was a Sunday morning, I think. Did you guys read it?
I did, but I don't, I mean, it was several weeks.
I believe it was a
5:30
Saturday at
Saturday
5:30
At
a.m.
5:30 a.m.
I was fixing my truck. I have to move it. I backed it in the garage. And I shut the door 3/4 down so I wouldn't make no noise. And then my neighbor, she heard me and she was walking the dog and I told her I was in the back working on fixing my truck. She said, Joe, you're not supposed to be doing that. I said, I know. I'm sorry. I just have to do it. You know?
But why did you have to do it so early?
Well, I gotta get on 24. I leave the house 4 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, jeez.
When you get on 24, it's a madhouse, bumper to bumper, doing 90, 95 miles an hour. They're passing you on a breakdown lane, passing lane, and everything. So I leave that early, there's hardly no traffic. On the way back, the traffic backed up 20 miles. That's the reason why. And I go to Needham, Chinatown, Braintree, all FedEx contracts. And then when I get home, I don't unload the truck. If it's on a Friday, right, I unload it. But if I get home late on a Friday, I leave it alone till Monday. I ain't got time to unload it.
Okay.
But again, I apologize for doing it that early. No.
Nicole, do you have any other comments?
No.
Okay, Mark?
What are the hours
I
for your
won't do it
license?
again. Pardon?
What are the hours for your license?
7 to 7,
Okay.
5 days a week, no Saturdays, Sundays, and holidays.
I'm glad that you know that. That's good.
Guess what? Here it is.
Beautiful. Okay, good. I find it frustrating.
I'm going by it right now. I'm not working. It was just a mistake, and I had to fix the truck. It was an emergency. And when FedEx calls me, I gotta go there. All the metal is inside the building for insurance purposes. I gotta be there within 2 or 3 hours, so nobody would trip over and get hurt because of the liability insurance. Otherwise, I'd get it the next day if I had.
I understand that you have an agreement with them, but you have an agreement with the town, which is
Yeah,
going to take
I'm
precedent
going by
over
it.
one of your customers.
I'm going by it, Mark. That one time I made that mistake fixing my truck.
but I was stuck, I had to.
Okay,
And like I said, I apologize.
all right. It's gonna stop. And you gotta follow the license to a T.
Yes,
Okay.
it's stopped, believe me.
All right, thank you. I know there are a couple of people here on this issue. Do you want to be heard at this point? Anyone? No? Please, come up. Okay, thank you, Mr. Fazzato.
Alicia Wilson, 2043 Somerset Ave. I came here tonight to just speak to the items that I've heard, seen. I do respect Mr. Frazado and Janice very much. They've helped us out, but there are violations that I have seen. I have seen work on Saturdays, coming and going with loads of junk. I've been up in the yard having my cup of coffee and, witnessing Joe coming and going and hearing the clattering in the back. I did go over and speak to him. I told him that, hey, you're not supposed to be doing this. And he goes, I know, but I don't care. And that's when I approached the board again because I was upset by that. I just wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt. I really do respect and, like my neighbors, and I just want everybody in the neighborhood to get along. And I know that this has been a point of contention, not just recently, but for many years, and it continues. So I just wanted to bring it in front of the board.
Great, thank you.
I'm sorry about that.
Jim, can we send him a letter saying that he was in violation of his contract? I mean, not his contract, his license, and that if it happens again, he'll be brought before the board. One other time, if we give him 2 more chances, his license will be suspended. But somehow it has to be on record and something has to go to him.
Okay, I have read, the process, and I, of course,
Okay.
will, I'll draft something for your
Sure,
consideration.
thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, nothing else on that?
Do you think we should have a check-in in 3 months or 6 months on it, just to
A check-in, what, with
check in
the
with Mr.
residents?
Frazado or
Mr.
with the
Frazado?
residents or
Or,
something
yeah,
to keep
I
it?
agree, instead of waiting until it gets to the point that she has to have it happen so many times that she has to come back here. If we have like a deadline, and we revisit it.
The only thing, I wouldn't want to lose the impact of bringing him before the board if we just bring him in once a month or once every 2 months, just to discuss his,
Are we able to reach out to the resident that has reached out to
sure.
us and
Yes.
see how things are going?
absolutely.
Okay.
I would,
Yes, sir.
Can I make some remarks?
Sure.
Wayne LePage, 176 Cobb Lane. Mr. Fazzato has no clue how to be a good neighbor. He never has been. I told the board before. I said, no matter what you say for him to do, he'll lie. He'll do whatever he wants. He will not comply. You gave him a junkyard license anyway, and now we end up with the same problem. I have a very sick wife. My bedroom windows line up with his junkyard, and some mornings, 5 o'clock, he'll just go out with a pipe wrench and just beat on a steel drum just to disturb us. I mean, it's a constant harassment. He said I'm harassing him, but whatever. Years ago, I tried to stop this. I had lawyers and tried to stop the whole junkyard business. Cost me thousands of dollars. Nothing was ever done. I told the board, like I said before, I said he does not comply to any rules. He does not follow any rules. He has limited understanding of other people's rights, and he only cares about himself. And that's what we have to deal with. I've been dealing with it for years. It's a living hell. And I've also asked many selectmen many times, would you like to live next door to that? And they say no. So that's why I was surprised when the board did give him a license in the first place. And basically, that's it. I'm very unhappy. It's very unpleasant in that neighborhood because of Mr. Frazado. Thank you.
Very impactful statement, thank you.
one comment, it would be real nice to have a police report or something of him acting outside of the posted hours that we have, because that would be an official document, official town document that would make it really kind of easy for us to act.
I know the police have come, and most of the time he's not there, or he's not doing anything when they arrive, and you can understand that everybody's hands are tied at that point.
Yes.
And I hate to say this, but if they can catch him doing something, like Mark just said, it gives us a lot more teeth than just to have your word against his. Yes, it's his license that's in violation, but we're not there, the police are not there, And is it 5:30 in the morning, him fixing a muffler on his truck, which he would be entitled to do if it was just taking his wife somewhere? But he's not entitled to fix his truck and fix the muffler on his truck just to go to work at 5:30 in the morning. That'd have to wait till 7. But I know you've done it before, you've heard it so many times, is call the police when you see them out in the yard doing something. And that's the only way I can think of it to get it documented.
Me too.
To go through this lawyer fees and this circle that we seem to be in isn't accomplishing anything. I have the feeling, well, no, I don't want to say that. So, yes, let's do that.
The only reason I don't call the police all the time, because I know the police are busy enough as it is.
Right, I understand that,
So it's
but,
like you become a pest. And
Right.
I've been through that before.
but it's a quality of life issue for everyone. And, yes, do they have more important things to do? I don't know whether they're more important or not, but it's their responsibilities too. So let's give them the right to do their job. Okay, so I need a motion on the floor to send Mr. Fazzato that letter from the interim town administrator, which I don't have to keep calling you that, do we?
We can just call him Jim.
Okay.
I guess in a formal setting, I don't think I've ever asked anyone to call me Mr. Purcell before, but I guess this is a first.
Sure.
In this setting, but call me Jim.
Okay, thank you.
So is this under my signature or a draft for the boards?
For the board to sign.
For the
please.
board to sign, thank you, okay.
I'll make a motion to send Joseph Rosado a warning, or a violation letter for his junk dealer's license, and for the board to have a check-in with neighbors in 3 months' time.
Okay,
I'll second that.
motion made and seconded. Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. So, we will check in with you because we said we would. The only other thing I can mention is if we take away his dealer's license, I don't think that's gonna stop him.
I know, that was my concern. But yeah.
But we'll have to see what happens. Okay.
These are the parameters you're dealing with, Mr. Chairman, so operate within them, yes.
Review, discuss, and act the police union-related 111F request.
I'd like to make a motion to approve police union-related 111F request as stated.
I'll second that.
So no discussion, okay.
Nope.
So, motion made and seconded, there's no discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Peter Karen's an aye. Thank you, chief.
Good night.
Thank you.
We'll work up the right.
Review, discuss, and act water district efficiency and regionalization assessment. Jeez.
Motion to accept water district efficiency regionalization assessment.
I second that.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. This is new business now. Review, discuss, and act ethics disclosures from Paul Reynolds, town pleasure / collector, Main Street drainage.
Good evening, everybody.
Hi.
Getting a feeling of deja vu. I feel like we just did this. So, I was asked to participate in discussions around the Main Street drainage project. Truth be told, I'm really not sure if I was asked specifically in my capacity as a conservation commissioner or simply because I own a home on Main Street. I live at 725 Main Street, which is particularly impacted by flooding. There's a culvert that goes directly under my street. There is a brook that cuts through the property, which Mrs. Goulart has informed me is not the Muddy Cove Brook, but is the Sally Richmond Brook. So there's a piece of Dayton trivia for everybody.
Nice.
But truth be told, I don't know if I was just asked to participate because of the location of my parcel and the fact that I'm more aware than I would like to be of the drainage and stormwater runoff conditions on the street. However, I wasn't sure if I was asked, it was kind of nebulous whether or not I was just going as a private resident or in a capacity as a conservation commissioner. I've spoken with the State Ethics Commission, who has basically advised me that there's no harm in over-disclosing something.
Okay.
Because truth be told, any abutter to a project is considered to have an intrinsic financial interest. Because like, for example, is the value of my property impacted by drainage conditions on Main Street? You betcha, right? So I just wanted to be completely transparent. As far as I know, this discussion and this conversation between myself, the contractor, highway superintendent, as far as I know, it's not any kind of formally incorporated public body. I don't believe that we'll be voting or making decisions or dispersing funds or making decisions, so to speak. I believe it's strictly in an advisory capacity. But just in case I'm asked to give an opinion based on resource areas or anything that might come under the purview of the Conservation Commission, I just wanted to disclose that I am in a butter to this parcel. I live directly in the middle of Main Street, basically. And so I just wanted to make sure that any participation that I have is fully transparent, and I just wanted to completely disclose that under the conflict of interest law, I would be considered to have a conflict, but the nature of that conflict also means that I can give a pretty unique firsthand account into the drainage conditions on the street. So,
Great. Well, thank you for doing that.
thank you.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you very much.
Paul?
This is a review, discuss, and act.
Motion to place on file?
I'll second that.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Megan Kearns. Yep.
Thank you.
Conservation, ethics disclosure, Megan Kearns. She's not here.
Motion to place on file?
Somebody's in the waiting.
I'll second that.
Let's see who it is.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Could I amend my motion for the police union 111F request? I just wanted to make the motion to approve without prejudice, and without setting a precedent.
That's why I thought we were gonna have discussion, but,
My apologies.
okay. Yeah, I have no problem having you change that. So what would your new motion read, please?
To approve police union 111F request without prejudice and without starting a precedent. Sorry about that.
Second that.
Okay, motion made and seconded, amended motion. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thanks, Mark.
Thank you.
Review, discuss, and act, Board of Selectmen annual appointments. In the agenda, Appendix A is here.
So I know Leanne worked very hard on working on the annual appointments. I had a chance to review. I made some comments, and I know she made those changes. So I have no comments other than.
What were the changes that were made?
We had a agent of the Board of Health who had resigned well over a year ago. That was removed. I got removed as a constable because that was something under my capacity as town clerk, which I am no longer. And I asked to make sure that the police were all checked, with the police department, because all those appointments. And I believe there was, Matthew Tanis, I knew was working in a capacity to help the Board of Health, so that was added.
Was Board of Health supposed to be 1 year or 2 years appointed?
It's a one-year appointment.
So it says here 2 years.
I wonder if agents are different though, because that's,
I think it's two.
So agents should be.
Okay. No, Board of Health
Jim,
member.
I apologize, I missed the last part of that, but is it not?
I do
Did
think
you
it's
say?
two.
Members are
To
one.
my knowledge, it was two.
Yeah.
But an agent, I think
Agent
is
is
fine
The
too.
agent, yeah.
It's the
The
members
agent's thing
that
was
are
2
one.
years.
Yes.
Member Barbara Katabia is down as 2.
Oh, good catch.
Member should be one.
That should be 1.
Yes.
Can't find her.
Halfway, third of the way down on the first page.
Oh, thank you.
Dayton Cultural Council member, Lorma Vargas, hasn't she moved to Puerto Rico, or is she back?
I'm I'm not sure of.
Yeah,
of
I
her
believe she's
status.
gone.
Okay, we'll check that
I
out.
just had a question about one of them, and I think Nancy's here. The MMA Committee on Energy and Environment, they decided, that was it? Yeah, so we don't do. Okay, that one needs to be. Just strike it. Okay. Thank you, Nancy.
How do we go about getting you reappointed, Nancy?
Remember we wrote a letter that we
Yeah,
were
I know.
angry?
Didn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Well, the letter went, but nothing happened. Okay, is there a motion on the floor to accept as proposed?
I'll make a motion to accept the annual appointments as proposed with the following amendments. That the Board of Health member Barbara Catavia be amended to a one-year term, 6/26/24 to 6/26/25. That we strike the MMA Energy and Environment appointment for Nancy Goulart. And that we appoint Glorimar Vargas to the Dayton Cultural Council, but follow up with her.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Motion made and seconded. Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Review, discuss, and act end-of-year transfers for stormwater and town administrator.
I think they're self-explanatory, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
It's commendable that there's only 2 on this agenda.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, this is again a review, discuss, and act.
Okay. Motion to accept the end-of-year transfers for stormwater and town administrator as presented.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion made and seconded. Any more discussion or any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Acknowledgements. We received a letter from Patrick McGovern resigning from the Board of Health, effective immediately. And we don't typically read them, and I'm not going to read this one, but it was dated June 24th.
Motion to accept the letter from Patrick McGovern, resignation from the Board of Health with thanks and appreciation.
I'll second that.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. And same thing with Heather. She resigned as well, effective immediately.
Motion to accept the letter of resignation from Heather Bernard with thanks and appreciation.
Actually, I want to amend that. She's leaving on July 15th?
July 15th.
Oh, okay, I thought somebody told me.
She's using benefited time.
Okay,
Tell
that's
that.
why. All right. Sorry, Mark. Go ahead, please.
Motion to accept the letter of resignation from Heather Grenard, resignation from health agent position with thanks and appreciation.
I'll second that.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion?
I just had one thing to say.
Yeah.
I just wanted to thank her. She came from a different role. She dived headfirst into this work. What she did was completely in line with what the state is trying to do right now. They are trying to take folks and bring them into the public health workforce. They want to create new public health workforce, so that was great. And we were able to use the Public Health Excellence Grant to train her and all those things, so that was excellent.
Great. Thank you. There was a motion made and seconded. Did we vote on it?
I don't think so.
Motion made. Is there a second?
I'll second
You
that.
second that.
I think we're at a vote.
Okay,
Aye.
Aye.
and Peter Cameron's an aye. Moving on to approval of the warrants, please.
Motion to approve warrants paid through June 20th, 2024, warrant 52A-24, in the amount of $121,682.85, and warrant 52B-24, in the amount of $288,555.44.
I'll second that.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 And motion to pay warrants through June 13th, 2024, warrant 53A-24, in the amount of $154,621.10, and 53B-24, in the amount of $129,134.35.
Is that the 13th or the 27th?
June 13th, 2024.
Do we have warrants for the 27th? That's what's listed on the agenda.
I would think those were the 27th.
So would I. Well, the agenda says the 27th.
That would make sense, so I will amend my motion to pay it for the 27th.
As long as the warrant number's in the motion, Mr. Chairman, we can.
That's, okay, all right.
I'll second that.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Deputy Karen said aye. Public input. Anybody? Anybody at all? No? Okay, well, let's move on.
No, you said I could do this.
You gave me permission the last time I did it. Just a reminder to everybody that the PMC bike ride will be coming through Dayton on Saturday, August the 3rd. The lunch is at the gathering places at Dayton Rehoboth. They are still looking for volunteers. We have our nurse who has volunteered, so anybody else, get in touch with PMC. With this year's ride, as I mentioned the last time, the goal is to exceed the $1 billion with a B dollar mark. And based on where they are right now, they should well exceed this $1 billion that they have raised, which is the major funding for the research at the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute. So be on the road on the August the 3rd to wave them on or volunteer or any way you can help.
It's funny,
Thanks,
right after
Nancy.
you made the announcement, 3 weeks ago, I think you were up here, and they were on the national news, talking about the $1 billion mark.
Largest, I believe it's the largest bike fundraiser, definitely in the country. It could be in the world for all I know.
Yep.
But it's remarkable
Sure.
what they've done.
Thank
So-
you for pointing them out.
Well, I have a team, so I have to.
I know.
When do you usually start seeing people riding their bikes through Dayton?
Early in the morning.
Yeah?
I mean, they leave, I think some of them leave Sturbridge before the sun comes up, to tell you the truth. 9:30.
Okay, wow.
So they must be feeding some of them breakfast up there, not lunch. But my team comes through, they surprise me, 11:30, and now they've driven from Sturbridge, they've gone to Dayton Rehoboth, they've had something to eat and all that, and now they're headed for the Maritime Academy, where they bunk down for the night.
And how long does it take them to get from Sturbridge to here?
Well, I think Eric told me that his team, and with no breakdowns or anything, I think they leave somewhere around 8 in the morning.
Wow.
I mean,
So they're there here at 9:30?
No, from Sturbridge,
no,
6
my,
a.m.
my team,
Okay.
my team. Others, like I say, they must head out when
Yeah.
the chickens get up.
6 a.m.
Is it?
That's the official start, so they're
Yeah,
they're
so-
lining up in the dock, yeah.
Yeah. So those, I mean, I don't know how fast they can go, but it's pedal power.
Yeah.
So.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nancy.
Yes, sir.
Didn't want to belay the regular business meeting, but I saved my last question. At town meeting, we voted to amend our no parking zone bylaw involving several streets, including Williams Street. Two questions. Will no parking signs be posted in the new no parking zones? And more importantly, was money placed in the budget for these signs?
It is up to the selectmen to approve the signs, according to Mr. Ferry. But as far as the funds go, I don't know if we have the signs, enough signs, or if you have it in your budget to purchase signs, but I believe they should be posted. I don't know how my two colleagues feel, but if we're going to issue citations, the least we can do here in Dayton is notify them that they're in violation, as opposed to just assuming everybody knows the laws. Just especially because you go to Providence and you're not allowed to block 30 feet of a stop sign or a stoplight, and then it's not posted anywhere, but you're supposed to know that when you get your license. We don't have that ability here in Dayton other than posting it on a Facebook to say this is the new change. So I think we should put signs up.
Yes, especially where people in that area have lived there for decades, and this will be a surprise to them if they wake up some morning and see a ticket on their car.
Right.
So we have a mechanism in my budget to buy signs. The actual dollar amount to all those locations to be determined. If that's what you would like, I can get that ball in motion. I do question though, when is it effective? Is it when the whole warrant's approved from Boston?
Yes, it wouldn't be effective when the signs go up. It's when we get the warrant back, then,
Yeah.
then it would go into effect.
Any ballpark figure when that is?
I don't know, when does it typically come back, Jim?
It's like 60 to 90 days, it all depends on how
Yeah.
backed up the Attorney General. Sorry, I got them as town clerk, so.
I don't
Yeah.
know when this order was made, and
Yeah.
so
Okay.
I can
So,
make up an answer if you'd like.
we're looking September, if you can,
So it's that long?
well, 60 to 90 days, well, 3 months.
It all depends on the Attorney General, too.
Yeah, the signs I would have them within a week.
Okay,
Could we have a formal recommendation from you, and I would ask the police as well, since they would have a hand in it, for sign placement and quantity of signs and all of that? Thank you.
thanks, Tom.
a town meeting article.
Okay, no other public,
No, I think Barbara wants to speak.
oh, I'm sorry.
Can I speak on the Board of Health and what's
Sure.
going on down there? Okay, there's been a few
Yep.
resignations. So I'd like to just say what we're doing about it. The Board of Health, Dayton Board of Health is open. There are 2 open member of Board of Health positions right now. We are taking applications until July 8th. I believe a joint interview meeting between Board of Health and Selectmen is scheduled for July 10th to fill those positions. Therefore, scheduling July 16th for a Board of Health meeting with the full board. Nursing, we have to fill an opening there. We'll be opening the site for application soon for position of Dayton nurse. We would like a full panel on the Board of Health before voting and appointing someone to fill that vacancy. I have attended a Zoom meeting comprised of town nurses from the area, and Megan Russell stepped forward to offer her expertise. She is public health senior consultant. It is planned to have that meeting very soon. Health agent, surprised by resignation of our health agent, but she has been out for a time now, we totally understand, and her position has been covered. We will be going over job descriptions and will post that position as soon as possible. Any questions?
I just want to speak on the nurse portion. Megan won't have anything to do with our town nurse. They are hiring a regional nurse, and it cannot be just primarily ours. So we still have to work on hiring our own town
She's
nurse.
just guiding us, that's all she's doing.
I
She's
spoke
not-
to her today, and that is not what she told me.
Oh, okay, that's not what I heard, but.
Yeah. And she supplied me with some
I did leave her a
documents.
message today,
Okay.
for her to respond, one way or the other.
Yep, no. We need to go and we need to either look over, once you have a full board, you look over the job description, make whatever changes you and the board feel necessary, and post so we can get our own nurse, or we will be in violation of the Public Health Excellence Grant. We need to have our own nurse for them.
Oh, no, definitely, we're getting our own nurse, we're not getting anything through her. No, I understand that.
Okay.
Any other questions?
No, thank you for,
No, I just wanted to bring this up because there's been a lot of scuttlebutt around town about how the Board of Health is closed and whatever. No, we have some little bumps going over, but everybody is helping
okay.
everybody and we're all covering it. I was down at Swansea today and got a call that someone needed something, and I came right back into the office, looked it up, and called them right back and explained everything.
thank you.
But I told you at the interview, 24/7, I wasn't kidding. Have a
Sometimes
good-
you have to take a couple of steps backwards just to be able to move forward, so, we're just a bump in the road.
As long as you keep working towards excellence.
Yep.
That's all we're looking for.
Karen and Leanne are doing a great
And
job
we-
maintaining the office.
We really, really have to reach out to residents and see what they want, what they need. I mean, I'm willing to put my phone number down there. They can call me from the office. They didn't want me to, but
No, that's not a good
no,
idea.
I'm very willing. But now that behalf of Mrs. Wilson, thank you very much for helping us and voting her there. That would be a great help because she's so efficient and she's very knowledgeable.
Good.
So it's not a case of somebody coming in and then somebody said, well, wait a minute, I've got to call this one or I have to check this one. No, she can answer a lot of the questions.
Great.
Thank you very much for
Thank
helping
you.
us with that.
You're welcome.
Great
Yes.
report.
Can I just ask a question on that, Nicole? You mentioned that without a town nurse, we would face...
Could you come up to the podium, please?
You mentioned about the grant, that without a health nurse in place, that we would face possibly losing that grant money. Is there a time frame that they allow for the interim where we can search for?
No, it doesn't matter, as long as we're actively looking. As well as not to forget, there is a mandate in regards to having a registered nurse for, in case we had any tuberculosis cases. So there is a CMR for that as well.
Okay.
And the state is aware that we do not have anyone monitoring Maven. They're not thrilled about it. And that's why we want to make sure that we get somebody in there so that they can start monitoring, looking at Maven again, because we have nobody.
Okay, thank you, Nicole.
It's amazing, the job of a town nurse that nobody knows about. We have to go into executive session. So if there's no more public input, we're going to go into executive session under Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 30A, Sections 21A3, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation if any open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining or litigation position of the public body, and the chair so declares. The chair does declare. We're going to hear about Dayton Police Officers Local 306, Dayton 11 Local Dispatches, and Clerical Union. We will not be returning from executive session. So is there a motion to go into executive session, please?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.